Hey, welcome back. It's a fun idea if you share where you're listening from today. Thanks. Hit like and subscribe. Let's get cozy and begin. The message flashes on Laura's phone screen, catching my eye. It reads, "Meet me at the usual place. Can't wait to see you." My stomach twists. I can't ignore it. I sit in our living room, the sun casting long shadows through the blinds. Laura is in the kitchen, humming, unaware of my discovery. I know I need to act normal, so I stand and walk to her. "Hey, honey, dinner smells great," I say, wrapping my arms around her waist. She turns and smiles, her eyes bright. Her lips brush against mine, soft and familiar, yet now it feels tainted. "Thanks, Mark. I'm trying a new recipe," she says. Her voice is sweet, but my mind is racing. Who is she meeting? And why? I'm Mark, an architect with a steady career and a seemingly perfect marriage. Laura and I have been together for 10 years. We've had our ups and downs like any couple, but I always thought we were solid. Lately, though, things have felt off. Laura has been coming home late. Her excuses flimsy. Tonight, I can't shake the feeling that something is seriously wrong. As we sit down for dinner, I study her. She's beautiful, with her dark hair falling in waves around her face. She laughs at something I say, but it doesn't reach her eyes. I realize I need to find out what's going on. After dinner, Laura heads to the shower. I seize the opportunity and grab her phone. My hands tremble as I scroll through her messages. The name David pops up repeatedly. My heart pounds as I read the latest exchange. They're planning to meet tomorrow at a hotel. My chest tightens with a mix of anger and hurt. Laura steps out of the shower, a towel wrapped around her. She smiles at me, but I can't return it. "I need to go out for a bit," I say abruptly, needing air. I grab my keys and leave before she can ask questions. I drive aimlessly, my mind swirling. How could she do this to me? To us? The next morning, I follow her. My heart races as I trail her car to a fancy hotel downtown. She walks in, and minutes later, a tall, handsome man joins her. They hug, and I feel like I've been punched in the gut. I decide to confront her later that night. I can't let this continue. Back home, I wait for her, the minutes dragging by. When she finally walks in, I can barely contain my rage. "Laura, we need to talk," I say, my voice shaking. She looks at me, confused. "What's wrong?" she asks, but I see the fear in her eyes. "I know about David," I say bluntly. Her face pales. "Mark, I can explain," she starts, but I cut her off. "Don't bother. I saw you. I followed you. How long has this been going on?" My voice rises with each word. She stares at me, silent. I feel my world collapsing. Everything seems ordinary, but this discovery has shattered my life. I need to figure out what to do next. But one thing is clear. Nothing will ever be the same again. The air in the bedroom feels thick. Laura's silence stretches between us like a chasm. My heart pounds. I can barely breathe. "Answer me, Laura. How long has this been going on?" My voice is raw, desperate. She finally speaks, her voice trembling. "Mark, It's been a few months, but it's complicated." "Complicated?" I laugh bitterly. "What's so complicated about you cheating on me?" She looks down, her face flushed. "You don't understand. David, he's different. He makes me feel alive." "Alive?" I repeat, the word cutting through me. "What am I then? Dead weight?" "That's not what I meant." She takes a step toward me, but I back away. "Save it," I snap. "I need to think." I turn and leave the room, slamming the door behind me. I pace the living room, my mind racing. How did I miss this? How could she betray me like this? I can't just let this slide. I need to know more. I need to understand. I decide to follow her again, see where it leads. The next day, I trail her to the same hotel. My heart hammers in my chest as I watch her enter. David joins her shortly after. I wait a few minutes before heading inside. I slip past the receptionist and make my way to the elevators, my pulse racing. On the 5th floor, I step out and follow the hallway to their room. I hear voices behind the door. I press my ear against it, straining to hear. "Are you sure he's buying it?" David's voice is smooth, confident. Yes, Laura replies. Mark's completely clueless. He has no idea. My blood boils. I can't believe this. I feel like a fool. I need to gather more evidence. I can't confront them without proof. I step back, my mind made up. I'll hire a private investigator. I need concrete evidence, something undeniable. I leave the hotel and call a PI I found online. His name is Jack, and he sounds experienced, trustworthy. We agree to meet later that day. Jack's office is small, but tidy. He listens as I explain the situation, nodding thoughtfully. I'll get you what you need, he assures me. Just give me a few days. I thank him and leave, feeling a sliver of hope. I need to play it cool with Laura. I can't let her know I'm onto her. That night, I pretend everything is normal. We eat dinner, make small talk. I try to keep my anger in check. Over the next few days, I wait anxiously for Jack's call. When it finally comes, my heart leaps. I've got something, he says. Meet me at my office. I arrive, my hands sweating. Jack hands me a folder. It's all in there. Photos, recordings, everything. I open the folder and see the evidence. Photos of Laura and David together. Transcripts of their conversations. It's all there. My stomach churns, but I feel a grim satisfaction. I have what I need. That night, I confront Laura again. I throw the folder on the table. Explain this. Her face goes white as she flips through the photos. Mark, it's not what you think. Don't lie to me, I shout. I know everything. You and David, your plans. You're setting me up. She breaks down, sobbing. I'm sorry, Mark. I didn't want it to go this far. But it did, I say coldly. And now you're going to pay. I leave her there, crying. I can't stand to look at her. I need to figure out my next move. I call Jack again, asking for his advice. You need to protect yourself, he says. Gather more evidence. Make sure you have an airtight case. I spend the next few days doing just that. I install cameras in our house, track Laura's movements, record her conversations. It's exhausting, but I can't afford to let my guard down. Then I discover something that changes everything. I overhear Laura and David talking about a plan to frame me for embezzlement. They've been siphoning money from my company, using my credentials. If they succeed, I'll lose everything. I feel a cold dread settle in my gut. I need to act fast. I gather all the evidence and go to the police. I explain the situation, showing them the photos, the recordings. The officers listen, nodding. We'll look into it, one of them says. But you need to be careful. This could get dangerous. I know they're right. Laura and David are desperate. They won't go down without a fight. But I'm ready. I won't let them destroy me. The next day, I return home to find Laura packing her bags. Where are you going? I ask, my voice icy. I can't stay here, she says, avoiding my eyes. It's over, Mark. You're damn right it's over, I reply. But you're not going anywhere. The police are involved now. You're not running from this. She looks at me, fear flickering in her eyes. You can't do this. Watch me, I say, my voice cold. You're going to pay for what you've done. She glares at me, then storms out of the room. I feel a strange sense of relief. The end is in sight. I just need to stay strong. A few days later, the police come back with news. They've arrested David. They found the evidence I provided, and it's enough to press charges. Laura is under investigation, and it's only a matter of time before she's arrested too. I feel a surge of triumph. I've done it. I've outsmarted them, but the relief is short-lived. I know the trial is coming. I need to be ready. As I prepare for the trial, I focus on gathering more evidence, building my case. I work closely with my lawyer, going over every detail. I need to be prepared for anything. The trial date approaches, and I feel the tension mounting. Laura and David are desperate, willing to do anything to save themselves. I need to be one step ahead. The night before the trial, I can't sleep. I lie in bed, staring at the ceiling, my mind racing. I think about everything that's happened, the betrayal, the lies. I feel a mix of anger and determination. I won't let them win. The day of the trial, I walk into the courtroom, my heart pounding. I see Laura and David sitting with their lawyers, looking tense. I take a deep breath and take my seat. The proceedings begin, and I listen intently as the lawyers present their cases. When it's my turn to testify, I stand and walk to the witness stand. I tell my story, laying out all the evidence. I see Laura's face pale as I speak, her eyes filled with fear. David glares at me, but I hold my ground. As the trial progresses, the tension in the courtroom is palpable. The lawyers argue back and forth, presenting their evidence, cross-examining witnesses. I feel like I'm on a knife's edge, every moment filled with suspense. Finally, the trial comes to an end. The judge calls for a recess to deliberate. I sit in the hallway, my nerves on edge. I can't shake the feeling that everything is riding on this moment. When the judge returns, everyone stands. The verdict is announced. David is found guilty of embezzlement and conspiracy. Laura is implicated but given a lighter sentence due to her cooperation. I feel a wave of relief wash over me. It's over. As I leave the courtroom, I feel a mix of emotions. The fight is over, but the scars remain. I know I'll never be the same, but I'm stronger now. I've survived. I walk out into the sunlight, feeling a sense of freedom. I have a long road ahead, but I'm ready. I've faced the worst and come out on top. Now, it's time to rebuild my life. One step at a time. I wake up drenched in sweat. The trial is looming, and I can't shake the nightmares. I see Laura and David everywhere, their smug faces haunting me. I roll over and grab my phone. It's 3 a.m. Sleep is impossible. I get up and head to the kitchen, making myself a strong cup of coffee. The house is eerily silent, amplifying my thoughts. I sip my coffee, my mind racing. I need to stay focused. I need to be ready for the trial. I spend the morning organizing my evidence, going over every detail with meticulous care. Jack's reports, the photos, the recordings, they're all pieces of the puzzle. I can't afford to miss anything. Later, I meet with my lawyer, Susan. She's sharp, confident, and has a reputation for being relentless in court. We go over the plan, scrutinizing every aspect of our case. "Mark, you need to be calm and clear when you testify," Susan says. "Stick to the facts. Don't let their lawyers rattle you." "I understand," I reply, my voice steady. "I'm ready." As the trial approaches, the tension builds. Laura tries to contact me several times, but I ignore her calls. I can't trust anything she says. I need to keep my distance. I need to focus on the task at hand. One evening, I'm at home reviewing the case files when the doorbell rings. I open the door to find David standing there, a smug smile on his face. "Mark, we need to talk," he says, pushing past me into the house. "What the hell are you doing here?" I snap, following him into the living room. "Calm down," he says, holding up his hands. "I just want to make a deal." "A deal?" I laugh bitterly. "After everything you've done, you think I'll make a deal with you?" "Listen, Mark," David says, his tone serious. "This trial, it's going to ruin all of us. We can work something out. You drop the charges, and I'll make sure Laura doesn't take you to the cleaners in the divorce." I stare at him, my anger boiling over. "You think you can bribe me? Get out of my house before I call the police." David smirks. "Fine, have it your way. But remember, I'm not the one with everything to lose here." He leaves, slamming the door behind him. I feel a mix of anger and frustration. I need to stay strong. I can't let them intimidate me. The day of the trial finally arrives. I walk into the courtroom, my heart pounding. Laura is there with her lawyer, looking nervous. David is beside her, his confidence shaken. I take my seat next to Susan, who gives me a reassuring nod. The trial begins, and the tension in the room is palpable. The prosecution presents its case, laying out the evidence against David and Laura. Jack's photos and recordings are displayed, painting a clear picture of their deceit. When it's my turn to testify, I take a deep breath and walk to the witness stand. I recount everything: the suspicious behavior, the private investigator's findings, the plan to frame me for embezzlement. As I speak, I see Laura's face grow paler. David glares at me, but I hold his gaze, refusing to back down. Susan's cross-examination is ruthless. She dissects every lie, every deceitful act. Laura's lawyer tries to counter, but their defense crumbles under the weight of the evidence. During a recess, I step outside for some air. The tension is overwhelming. I lean against the wall, trying to calm my racing heart. Suddenly, Laura appears beside me. "Mark, please," she says, her voice trembling. "We can still fix this. Drop the charges. We can work something out." I look at her, my emotions in turmoil. "You betrayed me, Laura. You and David tried to ruin me. There's no fixing this." Tears well up in her eyes. I was scared. I didn't know what else to do. "It's too late for apologies," I say, turning away. "You made your choice. Now you have to face the consequences." Back in the courtroom, the trial resumes. The judge listens intently as both sides present their closing arguments. The tension is thick, every moment dragging by. Finally, the judge announces a recess to deliberate. I sit in the hallway, my nerves frayed. I can't shake the feeling that everything is riding on this moment. I close my eyes, trying to calm my mind, but all I can think about is the betrayal, the lies. When the judge returns, we all stand. The verdict is announced. David is found guilty of embezzlement and conspiracy. Laura is implicated but given a lighter sentence due to her cooperation. I feel a wave of relief wash over me. It's over. I've won. But the victory feels hollow. The woman I loved, the life we built, it's all gone. As I leave the courtroom, I see Laura standing alone. She looks at me, her eyes filled with regret. I walk past her without a word. There's nothing left to say. The weeks following the trial are a blur. I focus on picking up the pieces of my life. I throw myself into my work, trying to find some semblance of normalcy. But the betrayal lingers, a constant ache in my chest. One evening, I'm at home, lost in thought, when my phone rings. It's Jack. "Mark, I've been looking into David's connections. There's something you need to see." We meet at a quiet bar. Jack slides a folder across the table. "David's father is involved in some shady dealings. I think this goes deeper than we thought." I open the folder, my eyes scanning the contents. Documents, photos, evidence of corruption and illegal activities. My mind races. David's father is a powerful man. This could be dangerous. "What do we do?" I ask, my voice tense. "We need to be careful," Jack says. "But we can't let this go. If we expose him, it could bring down their entire operation." I nod, feeling a renewed sense of purpose. This isn't over, not by a long shot. I need to take down David's father to ensure they can never hurt anyone else. Over the next few weeks, Jack and I gather more evidence, building a case against David's father. It's risky, but I know it's the right thing to do. I need to see this through, to finish what I started. As we dig deeper, the threats start. Anonymous calls, veiled warnings. I know they're trying to scare me, but I refuse to back down. I've come too far to give up now. One night, I'm at home when I hear a noise outside. I grab a baseball bat and head to the door, my heart pounding. I see a shadowy figure moving in the yard. I flick on the lights and shout, "Who's there?" The figure bolts, disappearing into the night. I feel a chill run down my spine. They're getting desperate. I need to be careful. The next morning, I find a note on my car windshield. "Back off, or else." My hands tremble as I read it, but my resolve hardens. I won't be intimidated. I meet with Jack, showing him the note. "We're on the right track," he says grimly. "They're scared. We need to press on." As we prepare to expose David's father, the tension reaches a breaking point. The danger is real, but so is the possibility of justice. I know I have to be careful, but I can't let fear stop me. Finally, we gather enough evidence. We take it to the authorities, presenting our case. The investigation is launched, and the media catches wind of it. The pressure mounts, and I know it's only a matter of time before the truth comes out. The days leading up to the arrest are nerve-wracking. I'm constantly looking over my shoulder, but I know we've done the right thing. When the news breaks, David's father is arrested, and the full extent of his crimes is revealed. I feel a sense of vindication, but also a deep exhaustion. The fight has taken its toll, but I know it was worth it. I've brought down the people who tried to destroy me, and in doing so, I've found a new strength within myself. As I stand in the aftermath, I realize that this journey has changed me. I'm no longer the naive, trusting man I once was. I've faced betrayal and danger, and I've come out stronger. I know there will be challenges ahead, but I'm ready for them. For the first time in a long while, I feel a sense of peace. The fight is over, but my life is just beginning. The morning of the trial arrives. I stand in front of the mirror, adjusting my tie. My reflection shows a determined man, but inside, my nerves are frayed. This is it, the culmination of everything. I take a deep breath and head to the courthouse. The courtroom buzzes with anticipation. Laura and David sit at the defense table, their lawyers whispering urgently. I glance over at them. Laura's face is a mask of anxiety. David looks confident, but there's a flicker of doubt in his eyes. I take my seat next to Susan, my lawyer, who gives me a reassuring nod. "Today, we bring them down," she whispers. The judge calls the court to order, and the proceedings begin. The prosecution starts by presenting the mountain of evidence we've gathered. Photos, recordings, documents, all laid bare for the jury. I watch Laura squirm as her deceit is exposed. When it's my turn to testify, I walk to the stand, my heart pounding. The courtroom is silent as I recount the betrayal, the lies, the plan to frame me. I detail how I discovered their affair, how I gathered evidence, and how I uncovered the embezzlement scheme. My voice is steady, but inside, I'm seething with anger and hurt. As I speak, I see the jury's faces. They're horrified, shocked by the extent of the deceit. Laura's lawyer tries to discredit me, but the evidence is overwhelming. Susan's cross-examination is ruthless, tearing apart their flimsy defense. During a recess, I step outside to get some air. The tension is suffocating. I lean against the wall, trying to calm my racing heart. Suddenly, Laura appears beside me. "Mark, please," she says, her voice breaking. "Drop the charges. We can work this out." I look at her, my emotions in turmoil. "You betrayed me, Laura. You tried to ruin my life. There's no working this out." Tears stream down her face. "I was scared. David made me do it." "You made your choices," I say coldly. "Now you face the consequences." Back in the courtroom, the trial resumes. The defense tries to salvage their case, but it's too late. The evidence is irrefutable. When the prosecution rests, the judge calls for a recess to deliberate. I sit in the hallway, my nerves on edge. Everything is riding on this moment. The judge returns, and we all stand. The verdict is read. David is found guilty on all counts. Laura is implicated, but receives a lighter sentence for her cooperation. Relief floods through me. It's over. As I leave the courtroom, I feel a mix of triumph and exhaustion. The battle is won, but the scars remain. I know I'll never be the same, but I'm stronger now. I faced the worst and come out on top. I return home, feeling a sense of emptiness. The house feels different, like a stranger's home. I need to rebuild, to find a new normal. I throw myself into work, but the nights are the hardest. The loneliness is a constant ache. One evening, I'm at a bar, nursing a drink, when a woman sits next to me. She's beautiful, with dark hair and striking eyes. She smiles, and for the first time in a long while, I feel a spark of interest. "Mind if I join you?" she asks. "Not at all," I reply, trying to push past the memories of Laura. We chat, and I learn her name is Emily. She's smart, funny, and there's an instant connection. As the night progresses, we move closer, our conversation becoming more intimate. Her hand brushes mine, sending a jolt of electricity through me. "Why don't we go somewhere more private?" she suggests, her voice low and seductive. I hesitate, the ghosts of my past haunting me. But I need this. I need to feel alive again. Let's go, I say, my voice husky. We end up at her place, a cozy apartment not far from the bar. The moment we're inside, the tension between us snaps. Our kisses are urgent, hungry. Her hands roam over my body, igniting a fire I thought had died. We stumble into the bedroom, shedding clothes as we go. Her skin is warm, her touch electrifying. The world fades away as we lose ourselves in each other. It's raw, passionate, and for a moment, I forget everything else. Afterward, we lie tangled in the sheets, our breathing heavy. Emily traces patterns on my chest, her touch soothing. "You're a mystery, Mark," she says softly. "I want to know more about you." I smile, a genuine smile for the first time in months. "Maybe you will," I reply, feeling a flicker of hope. Over the next few weeks, Emily and I grow closer. She's a balm to my wounded soul, helping me heal. But the past isn't done with me yet. One night, I get a call from Jack. There's been a development. "David's father is making moves," Jack says, his voice tense. "He's not happy about the trial. We need to be careful." My blood runs cold. David's father is a powerful man with connections. I knew there would be consequences, but I hoped it was over. "What do we do?" I ask, my voice steady despite the fear gnawing at me. "We need to dig deeper," Jack replies. "Expose everything. He's dangerous, but we have to stop him." The next day, we meet to go over our plan. It's risky, but there's no other way. We gather more evidence, building a case against David's father. The deeper we dig, the more dangerous it becomes. One night, I'm working late when I hear a noise outside. I grab a baseball bat and head to the door, my heart pounding. I see a shadowy figure in the yard. I flick on the lights and shout, "Who's there?" The figure bolts, disappearing into the night. I feel a chill run down my spine. They're getting desperate. I need to be careful. The next morning, I find a note on my car windshield. "Back off or else." My hands tremble as I read it, but my resolve hardens. I won't be intimidated. I show the note to Jack. "We're on the right track," he says grimly. "They're scared. We need to press on." As we prepare to expose David's father, the tension reaches a breaking point. The danger is real, but so is the possibility of justice. I know I have to be careful, but I can't let fear stop me. Finally, we gather enough evidence. We take it to the authorities, presenting our case. The investigation is launched, and the media catches wind of it. The pressure mounts, and I know it's only a matter of time before the truth comes out. The days leading up to the arrest are nerve-wracking. I'm constantly looking over my shoulder, but I know we've done the right thing. When the news breaks, David's father is arrested, and the full extent of his crimes is revealed. I feel a sense of vindication, but also a deep exhaustion. The fight has taken its toll, but I know it was worth it. I've brought down the people who tried to destroy me, and in doing so, I've found a new strength within myself. As I stand in the aftermath, I realize that this journey has changed me. I'm no longer the naive, trusting man I once was. I've faced betrayal and danger, and I've come out stronger. I know there will be challenges ahead, but I'm ready for them. For the first time in a long while, I feel a sense of peace. The fight is over, but my life is just beginning. The news of David's father's arrest spreads like wildfire. The media is all over it, and I can feel the pressure mounting. The sense of vindication is palpable, but I know the fight isn't entirely over. There are still pieces to pick up, lives to rebuild, and consequences to face. I sit in my lawyer's office, the atmosphere tense. Susan is going over the final details of the divorce settlement. Laura sits across from me, her face pale and drawn. Her lawyer is whispering something to her, but she barely reacts. "Mark, are you ready?" Susan asks, her voice steady. I nod. "Let's get this over with." The meeting is a blur of legal jargon and signatures. Laura barely looks at me, and when she does, her eyes are filled with regret. But it's too late for that. The papers are signed, and just like that, our marriage is officially over. As I leave the office, a strange mix of emotions washes over me. Relief, sadness, anger. but mostly a sense of finality. It's done. I can finally move on. I throw myself into work, trying to regain some normalcy. My firm is understanding, giving me space and support. My colleagues rally around me, and slowly, things start to fall into place. Emily and I grow closer. She's been a rock through all of this, and I find myself leaning on her more and more. One evening, as we sit on her couch, she turns to me, her eyes serious. "Mark, what are you going to do now?" I shrug, feeling the weight of the question. "I don't know. Try to move on, I guess." She takes my hand, her touch comforting. "You've been through a lot, but you're strong. You'll get through this." Her words mean more to me than she knows. We end up in her bedroom, the tension between us electric. As we undress, our kisses become more urgent, more intense. It's a release, a way to feel alive again. Afterwards, we lie in each other's arms, the room filled with the soft glow of the city lights outside. "Stay with me tonight," she whispers, and I nod, feeling a sense of peace I haven't felt in a long time. The next few weeks are a whirlwind. The trial against David's father moves forward, and I'm called to testify. It's another battle, but this time, I'm ready. Jack and I have built an airtight case, and we present it with confidence. The courtroom is tense, the air thick with anticipation. I recount the events, laying out the evidence of David's father's crimes. As I speak, I see the jury's reactions, their horror and disgust. It's a stark reminder of how deep this conspiracy went. When the verdict is finally read, there's a sense of collective relief. David's father is found guilty on multiple counts, and the sentences are harsh. Justice is served. As I leave the courthouse, I feel a weight lift off my shoulders. It's over, truly over. I've faced my demons and come out on top. But the victory feels bittersweet. There's still so much to process, so much to heal. Emily is waiting for me outside, her face lighting up when she sees me. "You did it," she says, wrapping her arms around me. "We did it," I reply, holding her close. "I couldn't have done this without you." Life slowly begins to settle into a new normal. I focus on my work, my friends, and my relationship with Emily. We take things slow, building a foundation of trust and understanding. It's not easy, but it's worth it. One night, as we sit on her balcony watching the sunset, she turns to me, a thoughtful expression on her face. "Mark, have you thought about what you want to do next, beyond work and all this?" I take a deep breath, considering her question. "I think I want to help others who've been through similar situations. Maybe start a support group or something. Use my experience to make a difference." She smiles, her eyes shining. "I think that's a great idea. You have so much to offer, so much wisdom." Her words touch me deeply, and I realize that she's right. I have a new purpose, a new direction. It's a way to turn my pain into something positive. The next few months are a journey of healing and growth. I start the support group, and the response is overwhelming. People come from all walks of life, sharing their stories, their struggles. It's cathartic, for them and for me. Emily stands by my side through it all, her support unwavering. We grow stronger together, our bond deepening. I can see a future with her, something I never thought I'd find again. One evening, as we sit in the support group, listening to a woman share her story, I feel a sense of pride. I've turned my nightmare into something meaningful. I've found a way to move forward. After the meeting, Emily and I walk home, the city lights twinkling around us. "I'm proud of you," she says, squeezing my hand. "You've come so far." "Thank you," I reply, feeling a warmth spread through me. "I couldn't have done it without you." As we reach her apartment, she stops and looks at me, her eyes filled with love. "Mark, I want you to move in with me. I want to build a life together." Her words take me by surprise, but I realize it's what I want too. "I'd love that," I say, pulling her into a kiss. Moving in with Emily is a big step, but it feels right. We merge our lives, creating a home filled with love and laughter. It's not perfect, but it's real. and that's all I need. The past still haunts me at times, but I've learned to live with it. I've learned to let go of the anger, to focus on the present and the future. It's a journey, but I'm not alone. One day, as I sit in our living room, watching Emily prepare dinner, I realize how far I've come. I've faced betrayal, danger, and heartbreak, but I've also found strength, love, and a new purpose. The fight is over, but my life is just beginning. I'm ready for whatever comes next, knowing that I have the strength to face it. I've survived, and I've come out stronger, and for the first time in a long time, I feel at peace. The final confrontation with David's father leaves me drained, but resolute. I'm home now, sitting on the couch, Emily by my side. Her presence is calming, grounding me as the weight of the last few months begins to settle. "What's next?" she asks softly, her hand in mine. "We wait for the trial date," I say, "and I need to make sure everything is in order." The days leading up to the trial are a blur of preparation and tension. I go over my testimony again and again with Susan. Every detail matters. David's father is a formidable opponent, and I can't afford any mistakes. On the day of the trial, the courtroom is packed. The air is thick with anticipation. I take my place, feeling the eyes of everyone in the room on me. Emily sits behind me, her presence a constant source of strength. David's father, Richard, is led into the courtroom. His demeanor is calm, confident. He has connections, influence. But this time, the evidence against him is overwhelming. I have to trust in the justice system, even though it feels like a David and Goliath battle. The prosecution presents its case methodically, laying out the web of corruption and crime Richard has spun over the years. I'm called to the stand, and my heart races as I recount my story. Every word is a step towards justice, but it's also a reminder of the pain and betrayal I've endured. Richard's lawyer tries to discredit me, but Susan is prepared. She counters every argument with precision, painting a clear picture of Richard's guilt. The tension in the room is palpable, each moment stretching into an eternity. During a recess, I step outside for air. Emily joins me, her touch comforting. "You're doing great," she says, her voice steady. "Thanks," I reply, trying to shake off the nerves. "I just want this to be over." "It will be," she assures me. "And then we can move forward." When we return, the trial resumes. The defense presents its case, but it's flimsy at best. The evidence is too damning. The testimony's too strong. The judge calls for closing arguments, and I feel the weight of the moment. This is it. Susan's closing argument is powerful, leaving no doubt about Richard's guilt. The defense's argument is weak in comparison, and I can see the tension on Richard's face. He knows he's lost. The jury deliberates, and every minute feels like an hour. I sit, my hands clenched, waiting for the verdict. When the jury finally returns, my heart is in my throat. "Guilty on all counts," the foreman announces. A wave of relief washes over me. It's done. Justice is served. I glance at Richard, who looks defeated, his confident facade shattered. As we leave the courtroom, I feel a sense of closure. It's over. The fight is finally over. Back home, Emily and I sit on the couch, the weight of the day lifting off our shoulders. "We did it," she says, smiling. "Yeah, we did," I reply, pulling her close. "Thank you for standing by me." "Always," she whispers, and we sit in comfortable silence, the future stretching out before us. The following weeks are a time of healing and reflection. I continue to work with the support group, finding solace in helping others. Emily and I grow even closer, building a life together. One evening, as we sit on the balcony, watching the sunset, she turns to me, her eyes filled with love. "Mark, I want to talk about our future." "Okay," I say, feeling a flutter of anticipation. "I want to build a life with you," she says. "A real, lasting life. Maybe even start a family." Her words hit me deeply. I've thought about it, but hearing her say it makes it real. "I want that too," I reply, my voice steady. "More than anything." We start making plans. talking about the future with hope and excitement. It's a new chapter, one filled with promise. One day, I receive a letter from Laura. I hesitate to open it, but curiosity gets the better of me. Her words are filled with regret, apologies for the pain she caused. She asks for forgiveness, but I'm not ready to give it. Not yet. Maybe one day, but not now. I put the letter away, focusing on the present and the future. Emily and I continue to build our life together, and it's everything I could have hoped for. We travel, explore new places, and deepen our bond. One night, as we lie in bed, she turns to me, her eyes serious. "Mark, there's something I want to tell you." "What is it?" I ask, feeling a pang of anxiety. "I'm pregnant," she says, her voice filled with emotion. A rush of joy and fear fills me. "Really?" I ask, a smile spreading across my face. "Really?" she replies, tears in her eyes. We hold each other, the reality of our future settling in. It's a new beginning, a new life. And for the first time, I feel truly at peace. As the months pass, we prepare for the arrival of our child. The nursery is decorated, tiny clothes folded and put away. The support group continues to thrive, and I find fulfillment in helping others navigate their own struggles. The day our baby is born is the happiest of my life. Holding our child in my arms, I feel a sense of completeness I never thought possible. Emily and I are a family now, and it's everything I could have dreamed of. As I stand in the nursery watching our baby sleep, I reflect on the journey that brought me here. The betrayal, the pain, the fight for justice. It all led to this moment. I've faced my demons, and I've come out stronger. The future is bright, filled with promise and love. I know there will be challenges, but I'm ready to face them. With Emily by my side and our child in my arms, I have everything I need. Life isn't perfect, but it's real, and that's more than enough. One evening, as Emily and I sit on the porch watching our child play in the yard, I feel a deep sense of gratitude. "We've come a long way," I say, taking her hand. "Yes, we have," she replies, her smile warm and loving. As the sun sets, casting a golden glow over our home, I know that we have a bright future ahead. The past is behind us, and the future is ours to create. And for the first time in a long time, I feel truly at peace. I stand in the doorway of my home, watching Emily play with our child in the yard. The sun is setting, casting a golden hue over everything. It's a peaceful moment, one that feels hard-earned and precious. The past year has been a whirlwind. The trials, the betrayals, the rebuilding of my life. It all seems like a distant memory now. But the lessons remain. I've learned the value of trust, the strength within myself, and the importance of moving forward. Emily looks up and smiles, waving me over. "Come join us, Mark." I walk across the yard, my heart full. "What are we playing today?" I ask, scooping up our child, who giggles in delight. "Just enjoying the evening," Emily says, her eyes shining with love. We sit together, watching the sky turn from gold to deep blue. It's moments like these that make everything worthwhile. The struggle, the pain, they've all led to this, a life filled with love and promise. Later, after our child is asleep, Emily and I sit on the porch, a bottle of wine between us. The night is quiet, the air cool. She rests her head on my shoulder, and I feel a deep sense of contentment. "You know," Emily says softly, "we've come so far. I'm proud of us." "Me too," I reply, kissing the top of her head. "I couldn't have done it without you." Her smile is warm, and we sit in comfortable silence for a while. Then she turns to me, her expression serious. "Mark, there's something I've been thinking about." "What is it?" I ask, feeling a flutter of curiosity. "I think it's time to forgive Laura," she says gently. "For your sake, and for ours." The words hit me hard. Forgiveness has been a distant thought, something I wasn't sure I could ever give. But Emily is right. Holding on to the past only drags us down. I nod slowly, understanding the truth in her words. I'll think about it, I say, feeling a weight lift from my shoulders. It's not going to be easy, but you're right. It's time. Emily smiles, her eyes filled with compassion. You're a good man, Mark, and whatever you decide, I'm here with you. In the days that follow, I find myself reflecting on my journey. The pain, the betrayal, and the eventual triumph, it's all part of who I am now. But forgiveness is the final step, the one that will truly set me free. One afternoon, I sit down and write a letter to Laura. It's not easy, but the words come slowly. I tell her that I forgive her, not for her sake, but for mine. It's a release, a way to let go of the past and embrace the future. As I seal the letter, I feel a sense of peace. It's done. I've taken the final step. Life continues, filled with the everyday joys and challenges of family and work. Emily and I grow even closer, our bond deepening with each passing day. Our child thrives, bringing laughter and love into our home. One evening, as we sit together watching a movie, Emily turns to me, her eyes filled with love. Mark, I have some news. What is it? I ask, my heart skipping a beat. I'm pregnant, she says, her smile radiant. Joy and surprise fill me. Really? That's amazing. I pull her into my arms, feeling a rush of happiness. Our family is growing, and the future looks brighter than ever. In the months that follow, we prepare for the arrival of our new baby. The house is filled with excitement and anticipation. It's a time of renewal, a new chapter in our lives. As I hold our newborn in my arms for the first time, I feel a profound sense of gratitude. The journey has been long and hard, but it's led to this moment, a life filled with love, hope, and endless possibilities. Standing in the nursery, watching Emily rock our baby to sleep, I reflect on everything we've been through. The trials, the heartbreak, the victories, they've all shaped us, made us stronger. The future is ours to create, and I know that with Emily by my side, there's nothing we can't face. We've built a life together, one filled with love and promise, and I'm ready for whatever comes next. As I watch our children play in the yard, Emily by my side, I feel a deep sense of peace. The past is behind us, and the future is bright. We've faced our demons and come out stronger. For the first time in a long while, I feel truly at home. And that's the greatest victory of all.